the ensuing Babylonian magical formula, an ancient fragment here found in a state of poetry, derived from the work of Lewis Spence in his book Myths and Legends of Babylonia and Assyria. What we see here is only a part translation, and as you can see, it is bilingual, 2 languages woven together. The names have been left untranslated. I will now rephrase the text in English, using the Sanskrit and Sumerian Akkadian definitions of the gods' names. For example, Marduk means bitter oppression. We begin with Ea, Enki. Ea is the Marduk, or Merodach, of canals. In Sanskrit, Ea, Eta, Eta, Ini. Sumerian E plus Ni, the house of pain. In Sanskrit, Ea means of a variegated color, shining. They called it shining. Come, arrived, going, flowing. Eta, a deer or antelope. In Sumerian Akkadian, Ea is sometimes identified as the antelope, and in the Sumerian Akkadian meanings, Ea reveals the house of pain. A-E, E-A, Aya. A or E. Water, watercourse, canal, seminal fluid, offspring, father, tears, flood. Interjected alas, which would be the oracle chant, alas, alas, and brother, brother. Ea replaced Lord Zu as the oracle of the deep, and all of this together refers to the poisoned waters and the offspring of the oracle of the deep, the the Anunnaki. Now if I was to retranslate that text using the actual definitions, what would we find? Well, I could render: the shining rainbow is the bitter oppression or death and slaughter of the healing waters. In Britain, that would be the death of the NHS. Regardless, the line has been rephrased using the actual definitions and now refers to the destruction of these locations. See the Empire's invasion tactics for more details, especially Roman. Well, I am picked after all. Next is Ninib. Ninib is the Marduk of strength. Ninib is the precursor to Ninurta in Sumerian Akkadian. Nin means queen, mistress, proprietress, lady or lord. Ib refers to a corner, angle, nook. Yes, my dear friends, it would appear that the niche, the nook, the opening for this Anunnaki lord is the female. Ninib is the Marduk of strength, from which I render, according to the actual language, the placement of the feminine lord leads to the bitter oppression of strength. Interestingly enough, Mo means lord. Mo Vani. It's a little bit sick in my mouth. Mulvaney. Horrible little critter. Mulvaney means descendant of Moilmahena. Like Pazuzu, it means chieftain of the main river. It's worth noting that Pazuzu is a protector over children, Of course, if you are dumb enough to buy that, of course. Next we have Nergal is the Marduk of war. In Sanskrit, Nergali is a place not having air or gas, a vacuum. Nergalu. Galu are the demon punishers who assist Marduk in the underworld. Nergali, a wheel turned by water, running against or falling on paddles, used as a source of power, a water wheel. Or a wheel with buckets on its rim, used for lifting water, a water wheel. Connected to bitter oppression of the 50 daughters of Belos in Greek mythology. And obviously the Tower of the Wind. In Sumerian Akkadian, Ner meaning frog, omen. Gal means large cup, chief, or eldest son. The derivative, gul, gal, to overwhelm. And gala, gal, ga. Gala, ga. It is cognate with Galaga, a foreign helper, and is also cognate with I am, meaning to be. Gala, gal, ga. To be somewhere, to be available, to place, put, to place into, to be with someone, to have on one's person, to be possible, to take an oath, to dwell. Gala illa. To be placed into a storage basket, to be on high, and of course, when completed, enuma elish, meaning when on high, from which I could render, the omen will be positioned to overwhelm the bitter oppression of war. Alternatively, the omen of Lord Zu will be the bitter oppression of war. Again, alternatively, I am to be the omen, the eldest son, and the bitter oppression of war. Zamama. Zamama is the Marduk of battle. In Sanskrit, Samyama refers to restraint, self-control, forbearance, abstaining from giving pain to others, and or Sama. Sama should be known as 5 types, following the rival of God, mutually obliging, appreciating his virtues, acknowledging kinship, brother, and surrendering of thyself, alas, alas, together with the Sumerian Akkadian Ma, to bind, in the MSL dialect, gal or ga, the large cup, eldest son, to be placed into, a binding oath. Maga, to go, Akkadian alaku, to leave, depart, go out, line on a tablet, oath. Cognate with mu, to ignite this fire. This would be toleration for those who follow the rival, of the mutually obliging, those appreciating his virtues, acknowledging the brotherhood, and those surrendering thyself to the oath of the golden tablet, those who bear the gold leaf, Pazuzu. Enlil is the Marduk of sovereignty and control. N means Lord or God, because the A and the E are interchangeable, N or An. Lel means wind. N in Emisal means flee, infect, or mamu. Emisal reminds me of the voice used in the movie Dune. Enlil is the Marduk of sovereignty and control, from which I render. The winds of plague is the bitter oppression of sovereignty and control. If you need an explanation for that, here's a hard free backhand. Moving on, Nebu. Nebu is the Marduk of possession, re. demonic possession. Nebu is cognate with Zuzu. Both mean gold. The golden tablet, Pazuzu, or Pa-Nebu, and of course the Ouroboros. Nebu refers to Mercury, gold aligned with Mercury. The god of Zuzu, the wisdom of sin, who teaches and instructs, the bitter oppression of possession. Don't forget, allegedly, Pazuzu was invoked to dispel the demons, the very demons that were contained within him. In fact, invoking demons, the Legion. Mercury, the god of trickery. Sin is the Marduk of illumination of the night. Lord Zu is the bitter oppression, the illumination of the night. Shamash is the Marduk of judgments, the son of Lord Zu, the great smiter, or the devoted curse, is the bitter oppression of judgment. Adad is the Marduk of rain. The god of the storm wind is the bitter oppression of rain, the life-giving rain. Tishpak is the Marduk of the host. The heavenly host would be the footstool of the god of the gods. And accordingly, Tishpak's symbol is Mushusu. Mushusu, the later variant of Anzu, the divine storm bird, the lion-faced demon. Tish meaning table or altar, which would be the footstool, the foundation stone of the gods. The word Pak means pure, referring to the pure source. My mother's name, Catherine, means pure. I too am derived from a pure source. The pure altar is the bitter oppression of the host. Gal is the Marduk of strength. We've already been through that, so we won't do it again. To overwhelm the eldest son is the bitter oppression of strength, referring to the 50 gods being placed within Marduk, the oath to dwell within, a storage basket that is placed on high. And that would be the breastplate of Marduk, the golden tablet, Pazuzu. Shukamunu. Now this is the one that really interested me. Shukamunu is the Marduk of the harvest. Shuka is a blanket, probably the cloak that made Marduk disappear. Shuka is often red, Zu, worn by Maasai people. The men were all dressed in traditional shukas. This would be the red robe, the symbol of divinity, An, heaven, eagle, Su, the wisdom thereof, officially divine storm bird, the lion-faced demon. He was chased away from his temples like a dove. In the Anunnaki mythology, Enlil chased Ishtar from her temples like a dove. So when we see the dove, it resembles Ishtar, because the demons were put to flight. But it is in fact trickery, quite simply because the son of Sen, Lord Zu, dwells within Ishtar. This reminds me of the Russian dolls, one within another, and incomplete without each other. And accordingly, in Sanskrit, Shuka aligns with the sage, Asuka Deva. In ancient Babylon, this would be the Ashipu or Asibu, the sage of the sun worshipper, Rishi Sunak, Rashi Sunak. May he extend the sun and moon. Rashad Sanuk, rightly guided fun, which would be better oppression, or possibly the correct route for the nuke of sin. Anywho, let's render the line. Shuka is cognate with Apkallu, the wise sages, who are the mirrored version, the alter egos of the demonic Udug-Hul. In fact, they can't be told apart. In Sanskrit, Manu is the doublet of man, and that would be the Apkallu and their monstrous alter egos. Munu in Hebrew refers to the mirror of man, which would be Zu, with the further meaning futurity, will, shall, in relation to blood, bitter oppression. The cloak of the sage will be drenched in blood. Now I leave you with the completed version. The shining rainbow is the bitter oppression or death and slaughter of the healing waters. The placement of the feminine lord leads to the bitter oppression of strength. I am to be the omen, the eldest son, and the bitter oppression of war. Toleration for those who follow the rival, of the mutually obliging, those appreciating his virtues, acknowledging the brotherhood, and those surrendering thyself to the oath of the golden tablet. The winds of plague is the bitter oppression of sovereignty and control. The wisdom of sin, who teaches and instructs, the bitter oppression of possession. Lord Zu is the bitter oppression, the illumination of the night. The son of Lord Zu, the devoted curse, is the bitter oppression of judgment. The god of the storm wind is the bitter oppression of rain. The pure altar is the bitter oppression of the host. To overwhelm the eldest son is the bitter oppression of strength. The cloak of the sage will be drenched in blood.